Can you hear me? Tara, it's saying that your microphone is muted on my end. How's that?
There we go.
Ah.
Oh. You know what? I think we're live.
We are live. I think there's people coming on.
Well, that's interesting. It just decided to start. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Conversations with 1 Million Meditators. We've been having some fun tech things going on today, so we're running a little bit behind, and now we're just rolling. So we're good. We're golden. Welcome, Kerry. I'm so honored to have you here today. Kerry is joining us all the way from Bali, and in 2001, Kerry's near-death experience gave her the ability to channel, receive, and connect with many guides from her higher dimensions. She's an intuitive spiritual teacher, author, international speaker, transformational coach, sound healer, and meditation teacher currently based in Bali. Her spiritual teachings about divine love, peace, and harmony, and her global messages bring more love, light, raising awareness, consciousness, and have uplifted and changed many lives. It's such an honor to have you, and I'm glad we're rolling.
Yes, welcome. Thank you so much, Tara. That was amazing. But always in divine timing.
Right?
I say things happen for a reason. Now, maybe we don't know yet, but yeah, things always happen for a reason. So thank you so much for taking the time and inviting me on today. It's amazing. It's such a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining me. Okay, so you got to talk a little bit about this. I know we touched base on it, but you got to share a little bit about your story. I'm excited to learn more.
Okay, about my story, why I joined 1 Million Meditators, or?
Oh, yeah. You know, we should probably start with that. Hey, I'm just excited to dive in and hear more about your experience and all your journey. Yeah. But yes, you know, I should be a little bit more formal.
Yeah, that's totally okay. So my spiritual journey, I guess, actually didn't start in 2011 with my near-death experience. I remember as a child, I would see what I now know a spirit at the end of my bed, and I used to be terrified of seeing those because I didn't know why people were standing at my bed, and I was so young, like about 8 years old. And then I remember having an experience with my grandfather when he was very sick, and I knew if I stayed with him and put my hand on his hands that he would feel better. He would get better the next day, and he did. And I didn't think anything of it. I just thought that that's like what I want to do. I don't want to go anywhere else. I just want to be with my grandfather. And that had a really big impact on me and him as a connection, because I became, out of like 50 grandchildren, great-grandchildren, his little golden child. So it was beautiful for me. And he's no longer here. He's crossed over. But when I had my near-death experience, my grandparents, both of them, my grandmother and my grandfather, were actually sitting at the end of my bed when I actually came back into the human, what I call, let's just say, human form. So they were sitting on my bed along with many angels telling me different things, that I would be safe and I would be taken care of, because at the time I was going through a very personal challenge with divorce and my work. I was a social worker for Queensland Health. I've always been in that line of work, humanitarian work. This was different. It was like, I no longer fit into any environment that I'm in. And then I had the near-death experience, and that was the game changer. So when I crossed over and came back, it was like, oh my God, I'm so connected to everything and everyone, and I could feel everyone. And I had to actually retreat and go into like my home became my safety net. My bedroom became my power, because that's where I had the experience with my grandparents and the angels. And then I started to realize I was channeling different entities, and entities to me are ascendant masters. And there was something and someone talking to me, and it was like I was taught. This is what it feels like for anyone who wants to know whether they're going crazy or not. You're not crazy. When you feel like you're talking to yourself, when it's for your higher good, you're not talking to yourself. You're actually being channeled messages from a higher realm. And I actually worked in mental health at the time, so I thought I was going crazy, because I worked in where people hear voices and they're told they're going crazy and they're medicated, and I can assure you, in my experience, that is not true. These messages that come through that are for the higher good and for love and peace and harmony, they are real. And I've had many, many experiences. Only yesterday, I was in Kundalini yoga and at Yoga Barn, and I was a participant. I wasn't the facilitator or the teacher. And I had an experience with Jesus and Buddha came together, and they were telling me what I need to do to continue on this work. So it's just such a beautiful thing. But I'm not saying that you need to have a near-death experience to get this. We all have this inner wisdom we can tune into. We don't have to die to see the light. We just have to learn how to live it in the light, and we do that in meditation, which leads me to why I was drawn to 1 Million Meditators. I was actually asking because I know the feeling that comes through when and this is good for all of us to know, when we feel disconnected, or we might feel like we're not on the right path, and then we do feel like we're on the right path, and then we feel again, I feel disconnected and frustrated. All we need to do is ask that, the wisdom lies within the heart, and you will receive. So I remember before I joined 1 Million Meditators as an ambassador, I was asking because I felt, and I believe I was feeling the energy of the shadow, the darkness, that something big was about to happen. And if you look back, early 2020, what happened? And I was actually talking about it in my workshops and in my classes, my meditation classes, that something big is about to happen. But what that is, I didn't know there's going to be a big shift in consciousness. And it's interesting because I used to get my students to dance to Age of Aquarius, the song, and bring the sunshine in. And now look what we're going through. So yeah, just interesting how things happen. But the information that comes through to do that is channeling, and we're listening to our inner wisdom. So when I was asking, I feel like there's something else I should be doing, and it's not here in Bali because I don't feel the alignment. What is it? And I was in Bali. I'm connected globally for people that come here because I work at the Yoga Barn in Ubud, and that's a very popular place, very well known globally. But I knew there was something else. And then I saw 1 Million Meditators, and straight away I just knew. And I had a brief conversation with Anita, who is amazing. She's the founder of 1 Million Meditators, and hearing her story and Joe Dispenza when she did his retreat, and there was an instant connection because I had just got back recently at that time from a conference with Joe Dispenza, Bruce Lipton and Greg Braden. So there was like this, oh my God. And to me, that's an awakening, an awareness, which is a synchronicity, if you will, which is what we're striving for. So the moment, and it was like my heart opened up. It's like I must be part of this 1 Million Meditators. And it's like an inner guidance, an aha moment, some people call it. I just say I feel my heart opening up to that. That's when you know you're on your right path, or I do. I think, does it inspire me or does it tire me? And I just had so much inspiration for Anita and 1 Million Meditators and the movement. So that's sort of why I joined the movement. And I've always been an ambassador for peace. In Bali, when I first came to Bali, I was invited to the global peace movement here, and I spoke, and I can't believe I sang because I don't perceive myself to be a singer, but it was something. It's like something's taking over me, and I just need to sing this little song about peace and love, and I did. And it was amazing to do that. And then I was invited to India to speak at the Global Peace Conference, which was amazing to be asked to do that. And then I did a meditation with 7,000 people there. It was just, I was like floating. We're all connected into one. It was a beautiful experience. So I've always been in that sort of line of work and being drawn to doing that. But I think my near-death experience really opened it up to giving me the experience and connecting to Mother Earth, the ocean, and just knowing that there's something else we can draw on from above, and including the angels bring in that beautiful energy, and we can just will that in. We are all healers. I believe we all hold that magic within our hearts, and we can draw on that wisdom at any time. But meditation is really the key for me to take me back, because I get often asked about my near-death experience and interviewed about how it was. And I say what I've come to realise is when I died and I went to different dimensions, but the last one was I became this little light. And as I became, because this is what consciousness, I believe, is. So I became this little light, and I could see myself as light. Then there was this huge light coming towards me, and there was so much love, so much. It was like ecstasy times a million. I don't even know the words to describe this, because I've never felt it previously in my life ever, that I've ever remembered. This lightness, this calmness, this inner peace, the love for everyone and everything was so powerful. And then I united with the light. My little light became one with that big light, which is what I believe where we're at today. We don't need, as I was saying, we don't need to die to see the light. We need to just meditate. I realized when I meditated, I could get that feeling back. That ecstasy, that connection, that wisdom, that and then radiate that out to others once I'm there, which is what I teach. Teach people how to do that. It's to empower them. So it's like I've been given this information, this experience for a reason. I'm here to teach others to connect with their inner feelings. It's a feeling. It's not a thought. It's a feeling we're aiming for. Mm-hmm. And when we get that feeling and the heart opens up, we actually align with our life purpose and what we're here to do.
That's so beautiful. I just want to quickly say hello. We've got some people that have joined us. Hello to Love, Ben, or Luz, sorry, Love. We're just sending love. There's Luz, Ben, Dijon, and Nella. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. That was such a beautiful, just a beautiful experience that you shared. And I've been curious to ask you a little bit more, and I'm so happy that you shared why you joined 1 Million Meditators in the movement. But, for years over in Eastern cultures and kind of where you are, like I'm over in Canada, meditation has been I guess more recognized and practiced as a more, than it is over here, more, here now it's just kind of in the last, 10 years or so, the science has really come out to speak about meditation. It's, we is a little more known around here, but, over there it has been for a lot more years. I'm just curious what your experience has been like that. And I guess it's just interesting to me, the connection with the land and just the people over there and just the energy, Yeah.
I think in my experience, knowing that we are all connected. Now, I come from Australia, and when I was studying human services, part of that was to learn about the Indigenous culture, and I learnt so much about how they're deeply connected to Mother Earth, to the planets, to the sun, to everything and everyone. Then when I went to India and studied for about 18 months with Ayurveda and studied Ayurveda. And what was interesting was they believe the same, but they use different words and they use it in a different way. But basically it is the same. And then when I went to America and learned, I didn't spend a lot of time there, but I learned a lot about the indigenous Indians, American Indians. And I thought, wow, this is so powerful. What if every culture knows this, but they just use a different language and a different word? So my perception of that is we need to actually understand that we all know this and listen to our ancestors of the indigenous people and what they were trying to teach. And we don't have to know all of it. We just have to know it is real, that we are connected to the 5 elements, and our senses are connected to that, which is part of, I learned that was part of Ayurveda, but it's also part of the Indigenous people of Australia, Indigenous Americans, and I'm sure many, many other cultures do the same. They just do it use different wordings, as I said. The sun is the sun in English. They might call it something else in Ayurveda, but we call it the sun. So that's all we need to know. Oh, that's what you mean. It's not, like I say to many people come to me to do one-on-one healing sessions, and they say, oh, I'm working in corporate, for example. I'm working in corporate and I just want to become a yoga teacher and teach yoga. And I say, that's fine, but what if everybody decided that they wanted to come to Bali and become a yoga teacher? Imagine what would happen. Just remember this, every yoga teacher or everyone on this planet needs clothes. They need to know market. They want their business to be marketed. They want certain foods and diets. They want personal trainers. There's a need for all of this, and there's a uniqueness within us that tells us what we're here to do. We can't all be yoga teachers, and it's not just about yoga. No disrespect to yoga, but some people don't resonate with yoga. That might not light them up. And this is what we're aiming for, a feeling of lightness, of calmness, of inner peace. Yoga can do that for many people. For me, it's yin yoga or kundalini yoga. But I do enjoy walking in nature. I enjoy swimming. I love going to the ocean. There's many, many things. As long as it aligns with your heart and lights you up inside, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be, your mantra might be Ed Sheeran. I write this in my book, actually, Heal to Live, and I say, your mantra may be, it's all about love, or let it be, or become the ice princess. Let it go, let it go. That might be your mantra. It doesn't have to be in Sanskrit. It can be whatever lights you up inside.
Yeah, I love that. I love it. I know we were kind of conversing a little about this the last time we spoke, but it is so true, because it's like, what is it that fills your heart and lights you up and brings you that joy? And I love that you were speaking about this earlier, synchronicity. I was having a conversation with somebody earlier today, and that's what we were talking about. Like, there was an experience that somebody had, and it was just this instant, like, aha, like, moment, connection, awareness, like this thing. And that, they were talking about what does that mean? Does that mean? Like, why is this happening? What's coming up? And
and running with that energy, a little bit like when I used the experience of the 1Million meditators. I was asking for change, for something different to connect with. And that was a synchronicity. And instantly, when I heard Anita's story and I spoke to Anita, I just knew that I needed to put my energy there in a way that was in alignment with me, those around me, and the planet. And I always ask that, because in my experience, this is what I think, if anybody's stuck with their spirituality or what that actually means, when we go in, and we drop into that inner power, that goodness of who we truly are, when we ask, we do receive. We're just not taught to listen to those messages. Oh, I'm getting shivers. Thank you. I go, thank you, angels. So this, and I've got Archangel Michael behind me. You can just see a little bit of him, but that's his beautiful blue heart there coming in. So those synchronicities are the things that light you up, or you just go, oh, that person showed up and I was asking. Now, here's an example. I'll just give you, because I think this is important, just so if anybody's stuck and it helps them, that's wonderful. But I remember when I had my near-death experience and I had that huge spiritual awakening, and all these things were coming at me, and changes and many, many things, including I've never worn a watch since my near-death experience, and I was a watch girl. I had Diamante watches, different colours, everything. Never worn a watch since, and I didn't know why, what was happening to me. But the message I want to get across here, I think, is I kept asking within. I learned that when I seeked out in others, I got fearful. I became anxious. My anxiety would go through the roof. But when I sat in silence and really asked what was going on inside, I could connect to something outside myself that was so powerful that it was like I'm sitting in this essence of another world. And that's exactly what it is, because it's a higher dimension. But what I had to learn was to balance the two, because I'm still human, learning. And I believe we learn every day, and we learn until the day we cross over, because we're here to heal the energy that we've taken on from our past, our ancestors, our parents, whoever. We're here to help them heal as well, whether they be living or non-living. We have taken on that energy. We have birthed that. And once we heal that, we step into the higher realm of, we just know, okay, I need answers. What I'll do, I'll sit and meditate today. If I don't get the answer, I'll keep asking until it comes. Because it might take 5 minutes, it might take 5 days. You never know. Just don't give up. Because if you give up, you're giving up on yourself and your inner wisdom. Each and every one of you out there, this is for the world. You have a beautiful, beautiful heart with a beautiful, beautiful soul. And all it's asking you to do is listen. Come find me. And the magic happens.
Yeah. Well, there's so much truth to that piece of when you're going outside of yourself and you're trying to find something within you out, with other people and stuff. There's that trust piece, of just really being able to come back to yourself and trust in your own inner guidance and what it is speaking to you and telling you. And I'm really happy that you shared that, because sometimes it's a difficult thing to explain. Like, people will ask that question, like, how do you know? How do you know what that feeling is? How do you know you're not, courage and fear? Like, they can be the same energy. It's just how you're wanting to use it and how to transform that energy. But I get that question asked a lot. How do you know? How do you know? How do you know it's the right thing with your intuition?
Yeah. So, and I like to tell people, if it's fear, it's coming from your subconscious. So it's coming from an old paradigm, an old pattern. And remember, it's coming from up here. That's where the subconscious is. It's where your database of everything since the day you were born. But when we're coming from love, that comes from the heart and from joy, and this is alignment. This is in spirit. So if you wrote the word in capital letters, and anybody listening, please do this because you'll understand it. Inspiration means in spirit of self. That's what it means to me. But if you wrote the word, you'll understand more about what I'm saying. Does that inspire me to take that step? Or does it make me feel heavy and tired? Does that tire me or inspire me to do that? And there's your answer. This is one way to really dive into your intuition and learn how to gauge it. In my book, Here to Live, I wrote about, how we have a GPS in our car, and we call it GPS? Well, this is your IGS, your inner guidance system, how we gauge it. Did I take a left turn instead of the right? What was my inner guidance system saying? It was saying take left, but I thought, no, I'm going to go right. And you actually meant to turn left. Sort of like that, if you understand. Like, I like to keep things very, very simple. Like Einstein says, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it. And I love that quote. Yeah, because it gets people out of their analytical mind, and that's what we want. We want them to feel, not think.
Yeah.
And spirituality is a feeling. Inner guidance is a feeling. Inner wisdom is a feeling. Connection to the soul spirit is a feeling. And that's when you start communicating to your inner guidance through feeling, not through thought. And imagery comes. Like, I remember when I first came to Bali, and I was guided to come here through the channeling I was receiving, and I didn't want to come. I resisted, because when I was told or receiving, you have to go to Bali, and I said, I don't go overseas by myself. And I went, you want me to go by myself? Anyway, I decided to come because I got a date, and I went, you want me to go on this date? And I thought, it must be, there's something in this date that I must go, because for one, I didn't travel alone by myself, but I felt once I got a date, there's something in this, I must go. And plus I was asking, what do you want me to do with this experience, this wisdom that you're showing me, this knowledge? What do I do with it? Who do I teach? Like, I'm struggling here in Australia. What do I need to do? And they said, we want you to go to Ubud. Because I said, where do I stay when I go to Bali? Like, Bali's a big place. And they said, you need to go to Ubud. And I went, Ubud? I haven't been to Ubud for 15 years, and there's only monkeys there, because that's how I remembered Ubud previously. And then I said, well, where do I stay when I go to Ubud? And I did say, because sometimes we need to get firm when we're talking to spirit. If I go there, I will go on this date, but you better have my guru ready for me, because I'm lost, I'm confused, and I don't know what you want me to do with this work and this wisdom I have, and this new knowledge and this new connection to everyone and everything. So I came and I said, where do I stay? And they said, just Google it. Now, yes, Spirit does know about Google, because people laugh at me when I say that, and I go, but our like, the IT world is here for a reason. We just haven't learned yet. Well, some of us use it for what it's not here for. So it's supposed to be to connect us in a way of love and peace and helpfulness and kindness, and sometimes it's not used in that way. So that's sort of something to think about as well. But so when I came to, that's right, I said, where do I stay? And they said, Google it. And the first thing that popped up was Ubud Aura here in Ubud. And what I'd never heard, now what I'm about to say, I'd never heard of the yoga barn before, but Ubud Aura is actually right next to the yoga barn. And I was so excited. I got here late at night, and I thought, right, when I wake up in the morning, I'm just going to step outside my bedroom, and my guru's going to appear. And I went outside, and there was no one there. And I remember looking up and going, I'm really disappointed. I thought there'd be people here to greet me, or at least people sitting, so I could go over and say, hi, how are you? I'm from Australia, or something. And there was nothing. So I said, I'm going for a walk. And I went down this lane, and here's yoga barn. And I thought, I'm going to go do some yoga. I love doing yoga. Anyway, I thought the teacher, who's now a good friend of mine, I thought she was my guru. And I said, can we get selfies and blah, blah, blah. And I was talking to her, and I thought, well, maybe it's her. I'll come back and do another class. But then I went to a meditation. And that was it. That was so profound. I went and done this meditation. It's an ancient Indian meditation called Ananda Mandala, which means blissful circle. So there was about 50 people in the room. We're all joining hands. And I relived my near-death experience. I was in so much pain. And I'm fighting it like it was consciousness versus subconscious versus feelings versus wisdom versus pain. It was everything. And I'm going, please let me, I knew I was talking to someone, but I'm saying, please let me do this meditation. I just want to meditate. Why am I getting all this pain? And I was actually over like this in the meditation because of the pain. I thought I was going to pass out. Actually, it was so painful. And because when I died, I had anaphylactic. And what happens is my vital organs shut down. And it was the same thing, the experience of that pain. It wasn't my vital organs shutting down, I believe, in the meditation, but they were giving me the pain of it. And then something inside me said, take a breath and sit up. And the moment I did that, the pain went and I was able to continue on the meditation. Now, this is the profound thing. Buddha appeared in human form. He came from across the other side of the room and he put his hands on my head and he said, you have a beautiful, beautiful heart and you need to use your heart to heal and teach others about their heart and about love. And it was such it was the same feeling of when I died, that ecstasy, that love. Tears were rolling down my face, not for fear, through love, the beautiful experience of love. Now, I had that experience yesterday but with Buddha, but Jesus came as well. It was the same thing, and I started crying. And the teacher just said, I saw you smiling and I could feel your energy. And then I told him what was happening, and I said, there was just so much love in this room being filtered out. And they told me to put my hands up like this. So I did. And I was not listening to the teacher anymore. I was listening to them doing this in the class. Go figure. But that's what happens. They move through your body and your body feels like, oh, I don't have any control over this, but it's a beautiful experience. So that's sort of, and from then on, it was only within months that I was offered a position at Yoga Barn, and that showed up just synchronicity again. So that particular yoga teacher that I thought was my guru, she actually, we became friends, and just on one of my trips back from India, she said, let's have breakfast, and we did. And she said, what have you been doing? I haven't seen you for a while. I said, I'm studying Ayurveda in India, in Kerala. And she said, oh, they're wanting someone here that understands Ayurveda. You should contact them. And within 24 hours, I had a job at Yoga Barn. And it went on from there. So I was meant to be there to have that experience, to align me with my purpose. And this is what it is. Teaching meditation and teaching people how to align with the heart and teaching them about their power, the inner power, and their spirit when they make that connection, what it actually feels like. Because I get a lot of people sort of saying to me, oh, I saw the light, and then I saw, maybe this is an example, and then I saw my grandmother or grandfather, or some people have a deceased child, or I saw my child come in and they told me things. Some children, I had one person the other day and they said my 5-year-old son who's in another country came to me and held my hand and said, don't worry about anything, you're safe. And I go, that's his little cute little spirit, because children are very connected. And I say to people, if you feel disconnected, go and hang out with some kids about 4 or 5 years old. They'll just tell you how it is. Unicorns are real, angels are real. Don't worry about anything. It's going to be okay. You know, all of it. So connected. We were all that once. But anyway, that's what I'm here to do, to teach others what the feelings are. And when they ask me the questions, I just say, that's it, you're there. So they might say, oh, I felt this feeling of calmness, of softness through my body. And I go, that's it. Hold that feeling for as long as you can throughout the day. If you feel yourself going off from it, because everything's energy, so your energy might step into someone else's energy. Just bring yourself back to that feeling. That's your knowing. That's who you are. Your love, your light. Yeah.
That's just an incredible story. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. It's beautiful. And, you know, as you were speaking kind of towards the end and talking about leading these beautiful meditations and participating in these beautiful meditations, Could you share a little bit, I know you kind of have briefly already, about your experience with global meditations, because we do have our event coming up here on December 26th and 27th. It's almost a week away. Maybe it's less than a week. I can't keep my days straight now. But it's going to be absolutely beautiful. We've got the ambassadors around the globe. We're going to be holding space for 48 hours with meditations just rolling on. What's your experience being in community meditations, global meditations, such as what we're entering into here, on how it is so beneficial to, I believe it is, to raising our vibration and raising the consciousness, especially with the shifts that we have going on right now. And there's a lot going on in the sky and the cosmos in the next little bit. I would love for you to just, to touch on that and share a little bit, because I want to encourage as many people as possible to join us and feel into the energy, and just, if they've never tried it before, at least experience it, Yeah.
Okay. So this is my take on everything. So we've got the Age of Aquarius coming up on the 21st, and there's many, many movements going on around the world about that as well. And it doesn't matter where it is, what it's doing. Even in Australia, Uluru is activating. There's been crystals put in the centre of Uluru in Australia, and Uluru is actually the solar plexus chakra of the planet. And they did an activation. When I say they, the Indigenous Australians did an activation in January of this year, which is interesting. So it's the fire of the planet. It's the strength. It's the courage to keep going. They're raising these crystals out of Uluru. And then those, when it's activated, those ley lines come through Bali and go around the world like a Mexican wave. So this movement that we're doing, not just in 1Million Meditators, but on the 21st of December, even now, you can start today. It doesn't matter when you start, just start. You are going to raise up your energy, or for all of us, our energy will rise. And what we can do as a collective, believe that we have a power within us that can bring in light just through imagining a beautiful light beaming down from heaven into your heart. You become consciousness in that moment, which means you're stepping into your power of knowledge, and then you can radiate that out to your loved ones, to your family and loved ones, to your partner, to your community, to your country, and to the world. It's a little bit like the Mexican wave. So 1Million Meditators, because it's 48 hours and it's actually like dovetailing off the Age of Aquarius, which is beautiful. It's going to go non-stop, because the more of us that do that, the longer the vibration lasts. So here's an example, and I got this one from Greg Braden when I was in the conference in America last year, bridging spirituality and science together. Now, he said in 2000, when 9/11 happened, 9/11 happened, there's scientists, and Heart Math Institute in America are part of this. They measure the frequency of the planet. It's always happening. Someone is looking at that scientifically. But when 9/11 happened, something changed in the energy, and they'd never seen it before in living history. And after the event, and then it went back to normal, they go, oh, it's back to normal. But what they come to realize was people stepped into their more loving, their more caring, their more kindness. People were consciously looking out for each other, caring more, showing compassion, showing forgiveness, knowing that if we all come together as a community, we will feel safe. Then after 3 days, it returned to normal. So when we look at, if we use that example, that scientists, and they measure the planet, they will be measuring what's happened since we've been with what's happened. It started earlier in the year, and now knowing that this date, the 21st of December, has been put out there, they'll be watching what happens and how many people can do that. So what they're saying is, for every 100,000 people that come together as a collective, no matter where you are in the world, because distant healing is done. I do distant healing, and it's from here maybe to New York. I can send out that vibrational energy to heal that person, and you also use crystals to do that, because they're high energy. and also call in the angels, high energy. So it increases your energy consciously, bringing their energy in. And what happens, there's a ripple effect that goes out to the planet. And then, so going back to the 21st, it's going to feed into 1 million meditators. So if you happen to miss the 21st or any other date thereafter, or even start today, and if you miss a day, don't be hard on yourself, because that will disconnect you. Just get back into it and keep going. And the 48 hours means non-stop. There's going to be like a wave of energy, like the Mexican wave, for 48 hours, which means the vibration of the planet will rise, so will we. So anybody out there that's feeling emotionally stuck, you will receive something. It's like there's words out there saying a DNA upgrade, and well, to put that simply is, it's just an activation of energy within you that changes the old way of what you were thinking to come into more alignment with who you truly are. That's a DNA light, or the light codes. What are they? They're consciousness. It's bringing more light into your body. And we can change our DNA at will. Just ask Bruce Lipton. He's another one who I love and aspire to. He's a biologist, so he knows. He studied this for many, many years. We can change whoever we are at will. We have the power to do so. So the 1 million meditators is going to be the game changer as well, jumping on the end of, so for example, the 21st, and it's the age of Aquarius with the planets. If people aren't into astrology and the way, because what I've noticed and learned over time is the way people speak about these experiences can be very confusing to others. So for the people that don't, and the age of Aquarius and how the planets align and the energy changes, for the people that don't understand it, then I believe they will come into the 1 million meditators. And if you're not sure and you're listening to this, just try it. And what I say is, say to your subconscious, your analytical mind, what if this is real? What if we give 10 or 15 minutes on one of those days to this? And let's see how we feel. And if you feel something, keep going. Keep talking to your analytical mind. Tara, are you there? I'm just going to stop there on Instagram. Thank you so much for coming on. We've got a little glitch with 1 million meditators. Thank you. Don't forget, tell you to ask your analytical mind, what if this is real? Have a beautiful day. Namaste. Oh, am I still on, Tara? Okay, so we're going to, I'm still live apparently, and Tara's dropped off, so I'm just going to continue. The one last thing that I would like to say to everyone, just keep asking and you will receive. That is one of the biggest things that I learnt about on my spiritual journey, and being confused about your analytical mind. Your subconscious will tell you things like, oh, that isn't real, that's stupid, who believes in that stuff? But what if you say to your mind, because it's part of you, but what if there is something? What if this is real? What if I got on 1 million meditators and joined one of their 15, 20-minute meditations? They're going on for 48 hours, so there's enough time for everyone to come into this. What if I tried it and it works? What is 15 minutes of your life? If it's a life changer, a game changer for you, such a beautiful experience. And believe me, it will be. If you allow your heart to come in and your analytical mind, your subconscious, just to take a little rest, and ask it just to sit in the back seat or just sit beside you for a moment and allow you to come into your heart, you will create that. Have a beautiful, beautiful day, everyone, and thank you so much for listening. And a big thank you to all of the 1 million meditators ambassadors, and a big thank you to Tara for allowing me to come on and for her to interview me. This is it's what I love to do. I love to spread the message of love, peace and harmony. But remember, we are all that. That's your uniqueness. And when you find that, you will align with your life purpose and what you're here to do. Bye for now. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Namaste.